decreasing day by day number of so we discussed. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
And can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have discussed this slide in the last class. That is, in the last one, that is the combination of up to this slide it was discussed. So combination of transverse and parallel fillet welds. So up to this it was discussed. Oh. So it was discussed up to this, that is, there is a combination of transverse and parallel fillet welds. That means this is these two are the parallel fillet and this one is the transverse fillet. So we have to find out the plate strength, then the strength of the transverse fillet and strength of the parallel fillet, which is double here, this one and this one. So equated to the value of E, and from this we can find out the desired dimensions. So in this here the lengths of the parallel fillets are same. Now if they are unsymmetrically placed, that means sometimes it may be required that these parallel fillets are placed unsymmetrically, and this is the load position, say. So this is the load position, so unsymmetrically placed, that is the load is unsymmetrically, and so the fillet will be unsymmetrical in this form, the length of the fillet. And from the symmetrically placed double parallel fillet, that means from the last slide, the weld length is this. This we have already found out from the last slide. So this is the length if they are symmetrically placed. Now, in case of unsymmetrical double parallel fillet weld, total length equal to 2 into L, obviously, that is L1 plus L2, and this should be divided in two components, this into L1 and L2 in this manner. That means L1 total length of weld, and see the position of E1 and E2. So
হ্যালো
হ্যালো স্যার, হ্যালো।
হ্যালো স্যার।
হ্যালো
হ্যালো স্যার।
স্যার আপনার কথাটা শোনা যাচ্ছে না স্যার।
স্যার কথাটা শোনা যাচ্ছে না স্যার আপনার। চাপ
স্যার বোধহয় বাইরে বেরিয়ে গেছে।
ফোন করছি।
স্যার কি ডিসকানেক্ট করে গেছেন?
সেটাই মনে হচ্ছে স্যার, মনে হয় আবার নতুন লিংক দেবে।
So let us start. You can see and hear. Is it? You can listen and hear.
Yes sir, yes sir.
Listen and see. Okay. Okay. Someone is waiting. So this way bending stress can be determined. This is my point. Now bending moment for circular cross section. That was rectangular cross section. For circular cross section, this is the figure, and so the primary shear stress is this, that is P by A, considering the same equivalence, and tau 1 equal to P by A, that is P by pi dt. And you see this one, then to find out the bending stress, so there is an elemental area del A, and this del A equal to this is R, so R d theta T, this is d theta, and this one is theta, so R d theta T. So del Ixx. So this elemental area is considered to find out ultimately the Ixx. So del Ixx equal to del Ay square. This is y, and y equal to r sine theta. So r d theta t multiplied by r sine theta whole square, that is equal to tr cube sine square theta d theta. So Ixx, that is twice of, considering 0 to pi, 0 to pi, twice of this. That's Ixx, and ultimately equal to itr. So from this we can find out sigma b, that is b y by I. So this thing is simple thing, and this elemental area you can appreciate that this is considered to find out Ixx ultimately. So maximum shear stress will be this thing. This is the earlier simple equation. So we can find out maximum shear stress when the cross-sectional area is circular. Now torsional moment. For torsional moment, there is an empty. Okay, শ্রাবণ ব্যানার্জি ঢুকতে পারছে না।
আচ্ছা ঢুকে গেছে।
কেন ঢুকতে পারছে না? ঢুকেছো?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ।
নেটের প্রবলেম হচ্ছে মনে হয়।
নেটের প্রবলেম সর্বত্র, কিছু করার নেই, কি করা যাবে। তো now for torsional moment, so this is del A. Del A is r d theta t, del Ixx is the similar equation, Ixx equal to this. So by symmetry, Iyy equal to this. ও আবার একজন ঢুকছে, কতবার কি করা যাবে বলো তো, কোথায় ছিল সে? সুপর্ণ দাস, তুমি কি করছিলে এতক্ষণ বাবা?
স্যার নেক্সট দিন থেকে আপনি একটা মানে এরকম করতে হবে যে যাতে যদি স্যার আপনি সবাইকে আর কি মেলের থ্রু পাঠিয়ে দেন লিঙ্কটা।
হ্যাঁ মেলে পাঠিয়েছে, নাহলে স্যার ওই মোবাইল থেকে স্যার মেলে কপি
দাঁড়ান,
করে
আমি
আবার
বলছি।
ল্যাপটপ দিয়ে ঢুকতে হয় তো
স্যার আপনি যদি মানে মেলের থ্রু পাঠিয়ে দেন তাহলে স্যার ওরা যদি মেল দিয়ে জয়েন করে তাহলে আপনাকে আর বারবার করে মানে এখান থেকে বেরোতে হবে না, মানে ডিরেক্ট
তো আমি মেলে, তোমাদের কি মেলের গ্রুপ আছে? আমি কিভাবে পাঠাবো ওটা?
স্যার
ওটা তো-
আপনাকে স্যার আপনি হচ্ছে আপনাকে একটা এক্সেল এর শিট দিয়ে দেবো, ওর মধ্যে আমাদের সবার মেল আইডি গুলো রয়েছে। এবার আপনি ওটাকেই যদি এই গুগল মিটে একটা মিটিং তৈরি করে দেন, আমাদের সবার কাছে মেল চলে আসবে, আপনাকে আলাদা করে মেল পাঠানোর দরকার হবে না। তাহলে আপনাকে কাউকে ইন্ডিভিজুয়ালি আপনাকে এন্ট্রি দিতে হবে না, সবাই
আমি
অটোমেটিক।
জানি, কিন্তু আমি এরকম একটা মিনস আছে আমি জানি, কিন্তু সেটাতে আমি কোনোদিন করিনি, করতে পারবো কিনা জানি না। এটা কিভাবে করে তুমি আমরা লিখে দেবে, একটা হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে লিখে দেবে কিভাবে কি করতে হবে,
ওকে
তাহলে কালকে ক্লাসটা সেভাবে নেবো, বুঝতে পেরেছো?
ওকে স্যার, ওকে, একদম।
ওটা একটা মিনস আছে আমি জানি, কিন্তু আমি কোনোদিন করিনি। তোমাদের মতো এত এখনো টেক হ্যাভি হয়নি, বুঝেছো বাবা?
না স্যার কোনো
ঠিক
অসুবিধা
আছে।
নেই, হ্যাঁ, স্যার, কোনো অসুবিধা নেই, হ্যাঁ, স্যার।
হ্যাঁ ওটা আমাকে লিখে দিও আমাকে, কি
ঠিক আছে,
করতে হবে
ঠিক
step
আছে।
by step।
ওকে
হ্যাঁ,
ওকে স্যার, ওকে।
so this is, so ultimately by symmetry this is the I. Now polar moment of inertia, so for torsional moment we have to find out the polar moment of inertia, that J equal to Ixx plus Iyy. So this is ultimately 2 pi TR cube. So when J is known, then torsional shear stress will be equal to MTR by J, and that will be ultimately equal to this. So this is the tau. So we can design on the basis of torsional moment. Is it okay? It's okay. Anyone respond?
স্যার একবার বলতে
Are you in the class?
স্যার আরেকবার বোঝাবেন?
So this is the figure, it is clear. From this we are considering del A. That del A we consider for finding out Ixx, that is del A is this, and it is from the earlier slide, the same thing, ultimately Ixx equal to this. Similarly by symmetry Iyy will be equal to this. Okay, now we have to find out polar moment of inertia because you are considering torsion. So since you are considering torsion, you have to find out polar moment of inertia. So J is equal to Ixx plus Iyy, that will be equal to twice pi TR cube. Okay, so if polar moment of inertia is known, then we can find out the torsional shear stress. Torsional shear stress is MTR by J. Okay, MTR by J, R means from these are. So MTR by J is this, ultimately the equation is this. So torsional shear stress we can find out. Is it okay now?
ইয়েস স্যার।
Okay. Then,
Yes, sir.
Then for fluctuating force. For fluctuating force means, that means when we are considering the fatigue load. So a sudden rise in magnitude of stresses occurs in the vicinity of joint. That means where there is joint, obviously there is stress concentration factor. When there is joint, that is when there is welded joint, where you are putting your weldment, the external material, so there is stress concentration factor. And this Kf is very important, you know, when we consider fatigue. Okay, and there are we have to consult table for the values of Kf for different type of joints. Now, values of fatigue stress concentration factor for different type of joint, that is type of weld. These tables are available in design handbook. So types of weld: when butt weld, Kf is 1.2, toe of transverse fillet weld, at the toe of transverse fillet weld it is 1.5, end of parallel fillet weld it is 2.7, and T-bar joint with sharp corner it is 2. So accordingly we have to select the value of Kf. Stress concentration factor is important for fatigue. Now value of FOS, factor of safety. The values of FOS is like this. When it is static load, it should be 2. When it is repeated type of load, you have the idea of repeated type of load and reverse load. Have you idea what is repeated type of load and what is reverse load?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So reverse type of load is more dangerous. That is why here factor of safety is higher than repeated type of load. Okay. So these are the values of FOS. We have to consider this value of FOS. Now, so for fluctuating type of force, when these values are known, then the rest of the thing for considering fluctuating type of load, it is known to you. So considering those, then you can, that means Goodman line, etc., the load line, etc., you can consider the welded joint against fluctuating type of force. Now eccentric load in the plane of weld, or eccentric load in the plane of weld. This is the eccentric load in the plane of weld. That means this is the weld W1 and W2. We have considered eccentric load, but here it is in the plane of weld. So this is W1, this is W2, this is G, and this is E. This is the load P. Now the equivalence is this, that is a moment and a P. Now primary and secondary shear stresses are determined. So we have to consider primary and secondary shear stresses tau1 and tau2. Now how we are finding out? It is some in the exaggerated form. Okay. This is this one, this is G, T and T. Now consider one strip. Considering one strip, then consider a frame, XY frame. This is R1, this is G1. Okay, this is G1, this one is G1. Now area moment of inertia are found out, that is IXX and IYY are found out. This you can find out. So the process is not shown here, how to find out IXX and IYY. Now polar moment of inertia is found out about G1. So this JG1 is found out. Polar moment of inertia is found out about G. So when IXX, IYY are known, JG1 you are find out, then ultimately polar moment of inertia about G. First of all you found out about G1, then you find out about G, and JG is equal to JG1 plus AR1 square. This is the standard equation. So we can find out the polar moment of inertia about G. Stresses are then determined after finding out this G. Okay. So only the process is not shown to you, but in not in details, that you can find out. So that repetition is boring. So just I have omitted the repetition. That means you can find out Ixx, you can find out Iyy, you can find out tau1, you can find out tau2, you can find out jg1, you can find out ultimately jg. And when jg is known, then you can find out the stresses. So this is all for the welded joint, and I will send you the note after the class is over. Now just I will start an interesting chapter, that is design of clutches, and you have the idea what is clutch, and those who have some acquaintance with automobile, you have that idea of clutch, how clutch is used. So clutches are very important machine element. Now what it is first? So it is an important part of automobile, obviously, and also for heavy industrial machines, not for automobile only. For heavy industrial machines, the clutch is a very important machine element. Now, what is the function of clutch? When it is disconnected, that means when it is in neutral position, what will happen? The engine is running, but car is not moving. Is it?
Yes,
You know
sir.
this phenomena? Okay. So engine is running, but car is not moving. So this is desirable when the engine is to be started. So at the start, the inertia is very high. So you have to keep it at neutral position. Or stopped, or when the gears have to be shifted. When it should be stopped or when the gears have to be shifted, so it should be in the neutral position. Now similarly, the second point is for automobile. Now the third point. Say you are using a motor and there is a heavy duty machine, anything heavy duty, and that is to be started. So the drive to the machine should be disconnected till the motor attains the full or set speed, and clutch should be disconnected in the neutral position. Clutch should be disconnected. This is the position. Otherwise, the motor may fail. This safeguards the motor. Otherwise, the motor draws more current because there is inertia to move the static elements of machine. In doing so, the coils of motor may burn out. So this is the danger, and to avoid the danger, it should be disconnected. So this is the function of clutch. Is it okay? What is the function of clutch? I think it's okay, and it's very simple. Now the next thing.
Sir.
বলো।
স্যার ইন দ্য মানে প্রিভিয়াস স্লাইডে ওই ডেঞ্জারটা একবার বলবেন ওখানটা স্যার।
ডেঞ্জারটা হচ্ছে যদি at the static position before motor attains its full speed, so you are switching on the motor, okay? Motor takes some time to assume the full speed, okay? It will take some time. So before that time, so at the start point, if you connect the clutch, what will happen? The entire static load, it has to be moved. Motor should try to move it. So what will be the position for the motor? The more current it will try to draw. Okay. More power it has to draw, and for that the coil may be burnt out. This is the thing. So before the motor attains the full speed, you keep the clutch disconnected. This is the position. It's okay?
Okay. Okay.
Now classification. The classification is mechanical clutch. The first position is positive contact clutches. You have the idea of positive contact, that is square jaw, spiral jaw, tooth clutches, power transmission by positive engagement. Positive engagement, this is the positive contact clutch. Large torque transmission with no slip. This is the advantage of positive contact clutch. Now, the another one is friction clutch, and we will concentrate on friction clutch. In this class, we will study on the friction clutch. So, friction clutch is single and multi-plate, cone and centrifugal clutches, power transmission by friction between contacting surfaces. So, friction between contacting surfaces, and this friction is responsible for transmission of motion, and we will concentrate on this multi-plate, single plate, cone clutch and centrifugal clutch. These type of clutches we will discuss: single, multi-plate, cone and centrifugal clutch. We will discuss it in here. So these are the mechanical clutches. Now electromagnetic clutches. Magnetic particle, magnetic hysteresis, eddy current clutches. So these are the types of electromagnetic clutches. Power transmission by magnetic field with rapid response and easy control. Obviously, since it is magnetic field, there will be digital control, so control is very easy. And fluid clutches and couplings. Power transmission by hydraulic pressure. It provides extremely smooth starts and absorbs shocks. So power transmission by hydraulic pressure, and we will concentrate on friction clutches only. That means the second type of mechanical clutch. So these are the basic types of clutches. Now again we try to the slide like what it is. So by definition, clutches are mechanical devices used in machines for effective control and transmission of torque, speed and power. So there is control, at the same time transmission of torque, speed and power. Clutch connects or disconnects the source of power from other parts of transmission system. So it can connect, it can disconnect at the will of the operator. So this is the control, manually or automatically. So this is the control part of the clutch. You can engage it, you can disengage it. So that is the thing. So here the relevant thing is, there is a difference between, we have to discuss, there is a difference between, or there are differences between couplings, clutches and brake. Brake we will discuss in the next chapter. So coupling, clutch and brake. So we can have a discussion on the differences of these three. Couplings we have already encountered. So what is coupling? Coupling means there is a driver part, there is a driven part, and they are coupled permanently. Okay, they are coupled permanently. So at the will of the driver, you cannot engage or disengage. So it is permanently coupled. So this is the coupling. So it is not easy to dismantle. So for dismantling, you have to stop it, then you have to unscrew it and so many things, then you can dismantle it. But the clutch and brake, you can use it while it is in operation at the will of the operator. Now what is the difference between the clutch and brake? Clutch and brake means brake can do only one thing, that is it can only make it stop, or it can slow down the speed. So this is the use of brake, and one part is always steady, that is with no motion. But for clutches, there is a driver part and there is a driven part, and the speeds are synchronized. Okay, speeds are synchronized. So what is the statement here? Clutches and brakes connect and disconnect driving and driven shaft. But clutches make the driven member, which is initially at rest, obviously, rotate with equal speed of the driver. It can make rotate with equal speed of the driver. That means when complete synchronization happens. On the other hand, the brake makes the transmission shaft initially rotating to come to rest or slow down. Slow down এখানে লেখা হয়নি. At the final position, in both cases, complete synchronization occurs, allowing no relative motion. So there is no relative motion. Relative motion is not allowed when it is completely synchronized. So these are the differences between couplings, clutch and brake. There is similarity between clutch and brake, but there is differences also. So can you now get the points, the differences of these three elements, coupling, clutch and brake? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now there is single plate clutch. The single plate clutch means this thing. This is the driving shaft, and on that side there is driven shaft. Okay. Now driving shaft is always rotating. This one is always rotating. So there is a lever handle. By the lever handle, this is the lever handle. By the lever handle, it can be shifted. Okay, to make it contact with the driving this plate, and in between there is friction lining. So two discs in between friction lining, and there is a spring. So by the spring force, it is just pressed onto the surface of the driven shaft, driving shaft. Okay, so driving shaft, driven shaft, two plates, friction lining, one lever handle, and some actuating spring. Okay, these are the main things of the clutch, single plate or multiple plate, whatever it may be. So these are the main thing of the clutch. So this is the description. Whatever I have told you, this is the description. So actuating force is given by helical compression spring, and the spring design are not our interest here. So there is helical compression spring. Okay, and power transmission is done by the friction. So by frictional force, power transmission is done, and a lever is attached. If any one of you have driven a car, so you will see there is a arrangement for moving the clutch. Okay, now advantages: smooth engagement. Sleep occurs only during the process of engagement. That means when engagement is not completely done, it is in the process of engagement, there is sleep. That means there is relative velocity. But when it is completely engaged, when it is once engaged, there is no sleep. No sleep is permitted when it is completely engaged. Acts as a safety device by allowing the sleep when torque exceeds the safe value. That means suppose it is made for a particular torque. Okay, say there is overloading on the driven shaft. There is some overloading. So when there is overloading, the arrangement is such that there will be slip. That means overloading, it won't allow overloading. So there will be sleep when there is overload. Okay, so these are the advantages. So that means the three important points: smooth engagement, sleep only during the process of engagement, but at the end there is no sleep, and it acts as a safety device. This is very important thing. It acts as a safety device. Okay, so let us stop it here. And the very important things is awaiting for you, that is the uniform pressure condition, uniform wear condition, what we mentioned earlier. Those two things will be discussed in the next class, that means tomorrow. So uniform pressure condition and uniform wear condition, that will be discussed in the next class. Okay,
Okay, sir.
you face much
Okay,
trouble,
sir.
and I also.
No issues.
Hello, what are you telling?
No, sir, I
Huh?
was telling that no issues.
Okay,
Okay,
so
sir.
so you just write it to me that how that thing can be done. Okay,
Okay, sir. Okay.
thank you.
No issues, bhai.